Connie, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How much does it cost to stay in an assisted living, memory care, or nursing home?
Whew. I will tell you,
Yeah.
that is not an easy pill to swallow. So, there's a lot of factors that go into that.
Yeah. Tell us.
So, you have a monthly cost, and that monthly cost is made up of three components: the apartment that the person has, the care that they need, and the amount of medication that they take. So when you look at all of that, you can say if a person has a studio apartment and they need help with dressing and some assistance with bathing, and let's say they take 3 or 4 medications, and they want to be in Chatham, Morris County area, they could expect to spend between $7,000 and $7,500 for assisted living.
Right.
Now, if the person needs memory care, you're going to bump that up. So memory care is going to start out around $8,500 a month, and it can go upwards to about 11, maybe 12,000. And again, it depends on care and medication. When we're looking at nursing homes, that's the most expensive option. So you're usually looking at about 15, 16, some of them even 18,000 a month.
Wow.
Okay? So when people in the central Jersey area, that's going to be about the price. If you want something lower, less expensive, you need to go further south in Jersey. Pennsylvania is a less expensive option, but there's always a but.
Yeah.
With Pennsylvania, you don't have that Medicaid option that you have in New Jersey.
Oh, what's the difference?
So the difference is in New Jersey, when your funds are depleted, and they will get there if you're paying $8,500 a month,
Yeah.
you can apply for Medicaid, and then Medicaid picks up your expenses, and you can stay in the assisted living.
Oh.
In Pennsylvania, if your funds are depleted, you apply for Medicaid, you have to go to a nursing home. And you may be at a point where you need nursing level care,
Right.
but you may not be. And so that person may be in an environment, placed into an environment that really, medically, they're not ready for. And it can cause that person to do a quicker decline because they start to acclimate to their environment.
Wow. In New Jersey, if you are established resident at a place and you go from private pay to Medicaid, can they kick you out?
Okay, so if you go from private pay to Medicaid, can they kick you out? Technically, don't tell anybody I told you this. But they are by law required to do what's called a safe discharge. So if they can find a safe discharge, they can ask you to leave. However, what the policy for most of the assisted livings is once you've paid their required number of months, which is usually 24 months, they will have Medicaid beds available. And what we mean by that is you might have been in a private studio, or you might have had a 1-bedroom apartment. When you go on Medicaid, in most places, you will then have to share the accommodations.
Right, makes sense.
Okay, if there aren't any more shared accommodations available, then the family can pay privately until one becomes available, or the community can tell you about their sister communities, because most of them have places throughout New Jersey, and they will work with their sister community to see if they have a Medicaid bed available, and if they do, then your loved one could go there. May not be convenient, but you would still be in assisted living. The last option is that your loved one would be moved to a nursing home.
Right. I'm overwhelmed just hearing of all this, how complex it is. It's wonderful that there are companies and people like yourself who can be consulted with and work through all of that complexity. That's an amazing service that you provide. And to go back to what we originally started in the opening, it doesn't cost the family anything.
That's right.
That's an amazing service.
It does
An
not
amazing
cost the
service.
family anything. And we like to think of ourselves, we have a little tagline that we use sometimes, is Oasis Senior Advisors. Make one call, get many solutions.
It's so true. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.